vegetables, and sauces since 1935. At Mazzetta, we say that when you share your food, you share a part of who you are. So grab your family and friends and share some unforgettable flavors with Mazzetta.
RingCentral's AI receptionist uses voice AI to answer on the first ring, so you'll never miss a call again. In just a few minutes, you can personalize your own AI receptionist to answer questions, route calls, schedule appointments, and even send texts in multiple languages. Plus, it's easy to scale. Create unlimited AI receptionists across any phone system. It's all powered by one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
Hey, Dub Nation, it's your boy, Bonte Hill. And if you want to stay locked into the Bay's sports scene all season long, there's only one app you need, and that's the NBC Sports Bay Area app. We're talking breaking news, live game updates, exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes access, game day highlights, videos, and much, much more. It's all right there in your pocket. One tap, and you're with the squad. Anytime, anywhere. What are you waiting for? Download the NBC Sports Bay Area app today.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax free edition only. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is taxes.
Love that jam. Up next, commercial.
Intuit TurboTax free edition. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
Thanks for showing up, Dub Nation. Nothing beats catching your Warriors live, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back. As the official ticket marketplace of the Warriors and the NBA, even if you're headed to the game last minute, Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can experience all the sights, sounds, and styles in person. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Warriors tickets today at Ticketmaster. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com/Warriors. See you courtside again soon, Dub Nation.
Say you're a coach in Chase Center and need to draw up a last-second play. Or you're a fan in Section 212 craving nachos. AI from Google Cloud can help with both. The Warriors are using AI from Google Cloud to break down every move on the court, helping coaches game plan. And for fans, the same AI powers the mobile app, giving you personalized content, highlights, and yes, nachos ordered from your phone. With AI, you're always in the game, even off the court. Google Cloud, the official AI partner of the Golden State Warriors.
Dub Nation, this is GP2. Welcome back to the Warriors broadcast booth presented by DoorDash.
R.C. Davis back with you briefly before we toss it up to Mark Grandy. Tonight, the Dubs had only 2 dunks, but $5,000 will be donated by Rakuten to the Warriors Community Foundation. It's part of the Dunks for Donations program presented by Rakuten. Thank you, Rakuten, and go Dubs. Knicks were led by Jalen Brunson, 30 points and 9 assists. Karl Anthony Towns, 17 and 12. And Warrior hater Josh Hart, 12 rebounds. And Jordan Clarkson with 14 off the bench. Warriors off to D.C. They'll take on the Wizards Monday afternoon. That's tomorrow. Good night from Madison Square Garden. What a heartbreaker. Final from the Big Apple. Knickerbockers 110, Warriors 107.
Ready for your next adventure? Welcome to San Francisco International Airport, your getaway to the world. With over 130 domestic and international destinations, SFO offers seamless travel experiences, stunning art installations, and delicious dining options. Whether you're flying for business or pleasure, our state-of-the-art facilities make your journey smoother than ever. Don't forget to explore our unique shops and local flavors. Pack your bags and take off from San Francisco International Airport. SFO, your adventure awaits.
What's up, Dub Nation? Do you want to get cash back on Warriors gear? All you have to do is sign up at Rakuten.com/Warriors, where you can earn 10% cash back in store and online at Warriors Shop. Once you're a member, shop your favorite stores like Fanatics and Ticketmaster and watch the cash back add up in your account. Rakuten is the most rewarding way for you to shop and maximize your savings. Join Rakuten for free today at Rakuten.com/Warriors or download the Rakuten app. That's RAKUTEN.
We're cool for the summer. Demi Lovato. Live in concert in San Francisco. The brand new album, It's Not That Deep, is available everywhere now. For more, visit DemiLovato.com.
This next one's for all you CarMax shoppers who just want to buy a car your way.
Wanna check some cars out in person? Wanna look some more from your house? Okay.
Want to pretend you know about engines?
Nah, I'll just chat with CarMax online instead.
Wanna get pre-qualified from your couch? Woo! Wanna get that car?
Hey, SAP!
You wanna do it your way.
Want to drive? CarMax.
The lights, the crowd, the moment. When the Warriors take the floor, greatness follows. At Cash Creek Casino Resort, every moment shines. Feel the rush as the reels spin. Breathe in our serene spa. Savor each bite in our award-winning steakhouse. And recharge in the comfort of our luxurious hotel. Cash Creek Casino Resort, proud partner of your Golden State Warriors. Please play responsibly.
What do you think makes the perfect snack?
It's gotta be when I'm really craving it and it's convenient.
Could you be more specific?
When it's cravenient.
Okay.
Like a freshly baked cookie made with real butter, available right down the street at AM/PM, or a savory breakfast sandwich I can grab in just a second at AM/PM.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Well, yeah, we're talking about what I crave.
Which is anything from AM/PM.
What more could you want?
Stop by AM/PM where the snacks and drinks are perfectly craveable and convenient. That's Cravenience. AM/PM, too much good stuff.
Before you begin your road trip, ask yourself, do you really need 5 full suitcases? With the 2026 Kia Sportage X-Pro's class-leading cargo space, you'll have room for what you need. Find out more at your local Kia dealer today. Keep the adventure going. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-3334-KIA for details. Always drive safely and obey all traffic laws. Comparisons based on second row legroom and cargo space behind second row seats in the subcompact SUV class according to Kia segmentation as of October 2025.
To Curry, pump fake, flyby, 3-ball, with the buzzer sounding!
You've been listening to Golden State Warriors basketball on the Warriors Radio Network. Presented by United Airlines. For tickets, visit Warriors.com or call 888-GSW-WHO.
Don't you wish you were here?
This Odyssey Sports broadcast has been brought to you by Geico. Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
After the ball is thrown, Santos trying to get it inbounds. Feeds post. Santos will cut off post, take it, dribbles up, pass over the post, dropped it, turnover, ball game's over, and the Knicks have won. Golden State with a great effort, but they don't get a shot off in the final 6.2, and they will lose a very disappointing game here tonight in New York by a final of 110-107. A great effort, but no cigar to be lit tonight here in New York. And the Warriors will have to get ready for the Washington Wizards tomorrow night on the back end of the back-to-back.
Welcome in. Warriors wrap up on 95.7 The Game. Mark Randy with you as the Dubs fall at the Mecca 110-107 to the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. You just heard the voice of the Dubs say they're going to lose a very disappointing one tonight. Yeah, that's what it was. Warriors led by as many as 21 points in the first half. It was anybody's ball game late. They fought incredibly hard despite being down $193 million worth of salary. They had a chance to knock off the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, currently the New York Knicks, but they fall short. Again, final score 110-107. Welcome in. It's Warriors wrap up on 95.7 The Game. Mark Randy with you. If you want to call in, shoot me a text. You can do so. It's the same number for both, 888-957-9570. Again, that's 888-957-9570 as we react to this Warrior loss. Plus, you can join the conversation on YouTube as well at youtube.com/957 The Game. Again, that's youtube.com/957 The Game. Dubs fall 110-107. Warriors severely shorthanded tonight. More on that in a second. They've lost 5 consecutive games now. They're 1-7 in their last 8. They are 2 games behind the Clippers for 8th in the Western Conference. And because what happened elsewhere in the NBA today, they did not lose any ground with the Portland Trailblazers. They remain a half game ahead of Portland for the 9 spot. Portland lost in Philadelphia today, so the Warriors got some good news there, but they fall again in New York. They've lost 5 consecutive games. They're 2-8 in their last 10. And things are not looking great in the win-loss column. Today, though, I think you can largely be encouraged by the way the Warriors played. Again, the Warriors severely shorthanded. The Warriors not playing today. Seth Curry, Al Horford, Draymond Green, DeAnthony Melton, Kristaps Porzingis, Moses Moody, Stephen Curry, and Jimmy Butler. That is $193 million worth of salary, either not even with the Warriors on the trip or sitting on the bench in street clothes. The Warriors' available players today: Brandon Podziemski, Gary Payton II, Guy Santos, Will Richard, Pat Spencer, Quentin Post, Omer Yurtseven, who the Warriors just signed to a 10-day contract officially this morning, LJ Cryer, Malachi Leons, and Nate Williams. Those were the 10 Warriors available today. All 10 played. All 10 played at least 10 minutes, and 9 of the 10 at least scored 2 points. And the Warriors were right there with basically a fully healthy Knicks team. They were down Miles McBride. He's been out for a while and will continue to be out likely for at least the majority of the rest of the regular season. But other than that, they're healthy. They got Jalen Brunson. They got Karl Anthony Towns. They got Mikal Bridges. They got OG Anunoby. Mitchell Robinson is back and coming off the bench, but still is a problem down low. They got Josh Hart. They got Landry Shamet. They traded for Alvarado ahead of the trade deadline from the Pelicans. They're a fully healthy, for them, other than McBride, basically a fully healthy team that's essentially been a top half of the playoff picture team in the East for the entire season. And the Warriors were right there with them, led by as many as 21 points. You kind of felt like the Knicks were at least going to make it a game in the fourth quarter. The Warriors were never going to run away with this all the way. They built that big lead. The Knicks came storming back, but you credit the Warriors. There were multiple moments in this game. I don't know how you guys all felt, but you can let me know at 888-957-9570. There are multiple moments where I felt like the Knicks were going to kind of pull away with it, and it wasn't really going to be a game down the stretch. It ultimately was. The Warriors had the ball down 3 in the final seconds with the chance to tie, and it looked like they might have been able to get a pretty good look. It was like 6 seconds left. Guy Santos inbounds, from the right wing, side out of bounds on the right side. They get it into Quentin Post, right wing. He hands it off, the dribble handoff back to Guy, who dribbles top of the key. And the play, I imagine, was to run, that action that way, draw the defense, and then kick it right back to Post on a little pick and pop off the dribble handoff for a Quentin Post right wing 3. And the pass not perfect from Guy, a little high, maybe a little wide, but I don't know what's going on with Quentin in that moment. He did not catch it cleanly at all, lost the ball, a turnover, and the game's over. This was a one-possession game in the final seconds. And again, this is not a franchise that I think it's all that excited by moral victories. And I feel like I'm repeating myself the way that a lot of this has gone for the Warriors of late. But I mean, they fought really, really hard. Again, let me just read the players that were available tonight for the Warriors: Podziemski, Payton II, Santos, Richard, Spencer, Post, Yurtseven, Cryer, Leons, and Nate Williams. Those were the 10 Warriors that played today. You have Podziemski, who was a first-round pick, but not a lottery pick. And then you've got a bunch of guys that are either undrafted or are second-round picks. And that was the squad that you were rolling with today. Now, it doesn't make some of the bad mistakes the Warriors committed in this game okay, but the fact that it was a 3-point game, I mean, frankly, I'm pretty impressed. Frankly, I'm pretty impressed the way that they played for the most part. Now, you can't turn the ball over 18 times when that is your roster and your opponent's roster features Jalen Brunson and Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns and Bridges and Hart and Robinson, right, and Jordan Clarkson off the bench, who hurt the Warriors with 14 points. Like, you're not going to win a game if you turn the ball over 18 times. Now, the Warriors also forced 15 turnovers on the other end, and they actually won the points off of turnovers battle. But if you just take care of the ball a little bit better, you probably win this basketball game. That's how close it was. You ultimately lose by 3. Final score 110-107. 888-957-9570 if you want to weigh in. Again, that's 888-957-9570. Some of the individual positive performances for the Warriors in this one. Podziemski led the way with 25 points, had 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 22 points from Quentin Post. Great to see Quentin Post knock some threes down. He finished this game with those 22 points, 9 of 16 from the field, 4 of 10 from downtown. Quentin Post, in his previous 8 games, 4 for 26 from downtown. 4 for 26 from downtown was Quentin Post in his previous 8 games. Tonight, 22 points, 9 of 16 from the field, 4 of 10 from downtown, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Guy Santos keeps doing his thing. Guy was really good once again. I continue to be amazed by Guy doing things more than just scoring. The scoring is great, and he had 20 more points tonight, which is becoming pretty darn normal for Guy. Anywhere from like 14 to 22 points feels like is where he's sitting at most nights now, which is great, and they need that if they're going to be competitive with this kind of roster going forward. But he had 20 points. It was an efficient 20, 7 of 12 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown, made all 4 of his free throws, had 7 rebounds and 7 assists. And that last category is probably where I'm the most impressed. 7 assists for Guy Santos. And it's not like these are all just passes along the perimeter to an open 3-point shooter who happens to make a shot and you kind of luck in to an assist. This is Guy creating a lane to make a nice pass and a tough pass off the dribble. It's Guy using his ability to drive, using his footwork in the paint. It is using a variety of step through and step around moves to create a lane to the basket to either score or to draw the defense and dump off, a wraparound bounce pass to a cutting GP2 or whoever it is. I've been very, very impressed by GP2's by Guy Santos's passing, and a lot more than just the scoring for Guy Santos. You know that the hustle is going to be there, the gritty play, doing a lot of the small things. That's what Guy got on the floor doing originally, but now that he's getting a lot of minutes and consistent minutes in every single game, he's showing a lot of other things, and I've been pretty impressed by that as well. How good was GP2 off the bench? GP2 I thought was awesome in this game. Made 3 threes. The Warriors made 14 threes. They gained 12 points. They outshot the Knicks from deep, so they got 12 more points from the 3-point line in this game, but you can't turn the ball over 18 times, and the Knicks ultimately win this game 110-107. It's hard to be positive about this Warrior team right now because they have lost 5 consecutive games, and you have a lot of tough games coming up, and your ability to potentially catch the Clippers for the 8 seed seems to be dwindling. You could be 3 games back right now if the Clippers had just beaten the Kings yesterday. The Kings gave the Warriors a real big boost in terms of their hope of potentially climbing back and getting that 8 seed in the Western Conference. But everything happening to the Warriors right now makes it really, really hard to be positive. Again, you've lost 5 games in a row. In your last 8, you are just 1-7. You go back even further since Steph went down, since Jimmy Butler tore his ACL. It's not pretty there either. You've lost your grip on the 8 seed. That seems like it's tough to get back. And the Blazers are only a half game behind you, and they have the tiebreaker because they beat you 3 out of 4 times earlier this season. So things are not looking great for the Warriors right now. And in danger of sounding too positive after a 5th consecutive loss, I'm just going to couch this in saying I'm trying to look for the positive. I'm specifically trying to find the positive. And again, I think tonight there are positives just in the way in which they played, considering how many players they were down. But from a larger sense, I do think we're seeing that there are pieces on this Warrior roster that are getting opportunities and are maybe proving something that they hadn't had the opportunity to prove before all these injuries that we would not have known about if it weren't for these injuries. And of course, there's a lot of question marks around how healthy is this team going to be going forward. I fully expect Porzingis and Melton and Draymond Green to play tomorrow. The Al Horford injury and the Seth Curry injury are going to cost both of them at least a few games. They're both going to be reevaluated in a week. The Warriors announced that today. They both underwent MRIs. And Al Horford, his MRI showed a mild left calf strain, so he'll be reevaluated again in 1 week. Seth Curry had an MRI, mild left adductor strain. He too will be reevaluated in 1 week. They both got hurt in that game on Friday, as did Quentin Post, but he came back and played today and played really well. Draymond was a late scratch in that game on Friday. But as you read the injury report, you'll notice under Draymond's listing, under Melton's listing, and under Porzingis' listing, they're all qualified on there as injury management reasons, not like a serious injury that's keeping them out. Generally, when the Warriors include that management tag at the end of whatever it is they're suffering from, it means we're being cautious and we're holding them out. And in the Warriors' case, usually that is either on the front or the back end of a back-to-back, because Melton hasn't been playing in back-to-backs, although the Warriors had been encouraged enough to make it that plan, that back-to-back last week in Utah and home to Chicago. It ultimately did not end up working out. That was their plan, so maybe that changes going forward, but not this set of back-to-backs. And Horford obviously is out with a separate thing, so he's not going to play tomorrow either. But Porzingis, not going to be playing in back-to-backs, and Melton, at least for now, again, not playing in back-to-backs. They did not play today because they suddenly have a new injury that's keeping them out. They're not playing today because they're not playing in back-to-backs, and they're going to play tomorrow, of course, unless something happens. So the Warriors are going to be a whole lot healthier tomorrow. As they kind of scope this whole thing out, the plan was, all right, we got a back-to-back in New York versus the Knicks, and then the next day in Washington versus the Wizards. We're already down Steph. We're already down Jimmy. We're already down Al Horford. We're already down Seth Curry. Right? These are all guys that would have been out no matter what. We're already down Moses Moody. What should we do with Melton, with Porzingis, with Draymond? You know what? What's probably the best as we try to maximize the number of games we can win, probably is the best, is we're going to hold them all out of this game versus the Knicks. And maybe that results in a loss, as it ended up doing, although it was a lot closer than I was expecting, probably a lot closer than a lot of you were expecting. But you get Porzingis and Melton and Draymond back tomorrow in Washington, and you hope that those guys help you win that game so you can at least go 1-1 in these first two games. That was the general thought. So in the short term, the Warriors should be a whole lot healthier tomorrow, not fully healthy. But I'm talking about when Steph Curry eventually comes back, and he did not play today. He is on the road trip. You saw him on the bench, which is a good thing for the Warriors. That is a development at the least. Not going to play tomorrow. He's not going to play in Boston on Wednesday. He's not going to play in Detroit on Friday. He's going to be reevaluated on Saturday while the Warriors are in Atlanta before that game on the same day. I don't expect him to play in Atlanta on Saturday either. I don't know that for sure. I just generally don't imagine that they're going to play a player on the same day in which he gets reevaluated. Normally, a reevaluation comes and that lays out the potential return date, at least in general terms. So I don't think he's going to be reevaluated and play on the same day, which means he's going to miss, if he's going to miss that Atlanta game, at least 4 more games in my mind. But when Steph comes back, I don't think it's that difficult to see what Guy Santos has become, what Brendan Podziemski has been able to do. And I know Podziemski's got everybody up in arms again about the way that he played. We're going to talk about this. I would love people to call in and text in if you're someone out there who saw what Podziemski did today and lost your mind in a negative way. I honestly don't know what you were watching today. I thought Podziemski was pretty darn good. I see it everywhere on the YouTube chat right now. YouTube.com/957thegame if you want to join in and jump in on either side of this argument right now. I don't understand the hate directed towards Podziemski in general, but specifically tonight. Is he a perfect player? No. Is he a flawed player? Absolutely. Is he maybe a little too overconfident for who he is as a player? Yeah, absolutely. We can talk about all these things, but I don't know tonight how you look at what Podziemski did and come away with anything other than, damn, he was one of their best players, and they almost upset a really good team on the road, given they were down $193 million of salary. I don't understand what it was today. What, is it because of the turnovers? Is it because of the turnovers? 4 turnovers for Podziemski. Yeah, not great. Not great. Let me ask you guys this. Did Guy Santos play well today? I see certain people, both on the YouTube chat and on the text line, citing Brandon Podziemski's turnovers as the main reason why they thought he was a negative for the Warriors today. Okay. Who do you think had more turnovers, Guy Santos or Brandon Podziemski? Guy had 5 turnovers. Brandon Podziemski had 4. Brandon Podziemski had the ball in his hands a whole lot more. Now, I'm not here to tell you that 4 turnovers is good. You want less than that. All I'm telling you is we got to be fair as we evaluate these players. If you're telling me that Podziemski struggled today because he turned the ball over 4 times, I will wait for you to say the same thing about Guy Santos. 9 turnovers between those two, that's far too many. 4 turnovers as well for Quentin Post today. The number of times Quentin Post touches the ball compared to Podziemski, and they have the same number of turnovers, 4 turnovers for a big like Post is 10 times worse than 4 turnovers for a guard like Podziemski with how often Podziemski has the ball in his hands. I'm not telling you he played a perfect game, but we got to be fair when we're evaluating these players and the way that they're playing. I thought Podziemski was pretty darn good today. 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. And yeah, there's the moment where in the first half, towards the end of the first half, and this didn't really make a lot of sense to me, and maybe part of your frustration in the Podziemski experience is via Steve Kerr and the way Steve Kerr treats him, and we can have this conversation if you guys want to, but there was this moment towards the end of the first half, and let me bring it up exactly so I can set the stage appropriately. Warriors leading by 13, about a minute and a half left in the first half. They're on defense. Will Richard makes a steal. The ball gets poked away to Podziemski, and Will Richard is breaking the other way. He's got Jalen Brunson beat. Podziemski throws the outlet pass to him and leads him too much. Will Richard can't track the ball down and score, but he tracks the ball down with like a good 8 or 10 feet from when he catches it to the baseline. And he throws the ball behind his back to save it from going out of bounds back towards Podziemski. But by that point, a couple of Knicks converge. Podziemski can't grab it. Not his fault that he can't grab that one. His fault for the wayward pass in the first place. Not arguing that. And the ball goes out of bounds for a turnover. And then the NBC cameras, as the Warriors go back the other way to get back on defense and set up their defensive possession, the NBC cameras catch Steve Kerr screaming, the ball matters, the ball is everything. We later found out that he was screaming specifically at Will Richard, and this confuses the hell out of everybody because we just all saw with our own eyes a Podziemski overpass. He led Will Richard too far, and Will Richard did what he thought was best, which was try to save the ball from going out of bounds, and it ended up resulting in a turnover. But Steve Kerr is yelling at Will Richard. Why? I have a theory. My guess is Steve thought that Will Richard could have grabbed the ball and maybe took a right turn towards the corner and stayed in bounds as opposed to just blindly throwing it back towards where the pass came from. I think it's a little harsh to be upset at Will over Podziemski in that moment. Steve would probably say, well, the thing I'm upset about with Will is the decision he made, not the right decision to blindly throw the ball back, I guess, instead of trying to maybe tightrope the sideline and stay in bounds. That's the only thing that my mind can think of, as opposed to Podziemski made the right decision, just didn't put the right amount of oomph, put too much on the pass. That's my read on the situation. I still think optically it looked kind of weird for that play to play out that way and for Steve Kerr to almost pull aside Will Richard and scold him individually when he was just trying to make up for the mistake that Podziemski made. So if your Podziemski frustration maybe more has to do with the way that he gets treated by Steve Kerr and the way that Steve Kerr treats others, then I'll hear you there. But if we're just talking about the way Podziemski's playing in a vacuum and you just flat out look at me and you tell me straight face that Podziemski played poorly tonight, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how you can believe that watching what happened today. I don't understand that. Call me, text me, let me know, 888-957-9570, because I really want to hear it. I want to hear it. I absolutely want to hear it because I don't see Podziemski as having a bad game today. 25 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 5 rebounds and 6 assists. And Cam agrees with me. Cam agrees. That's kind of a long round of applause. Cam, just a little less, okay? Maybe that's more fair for Brandon Podziemski. Look, I mean, the Warrior fan base is in kind of a precarious spot right now. I get it, but I just don't. I don't think the Podziemski, and maybe I'm living in a bit of a bubble. Maybe I just feel and hear and see a lot of the Podziemski negativity a whole lot more than the fan base actually feels. But I feel like everything that I am being fed from all you guys, and I love the interactions that you guys have with me every night here on Warriors Wrap Up, whether it's the text line, whether it is the YouTube chat, whether it is those people on social media that respond to anything I say about, good sequence by Podziemski, and I get like invariably 8 people respond and say he sucks. Like maybe I'm just living in this negativity bubble as it relates to Podziemski, and all the people that are all right with Podziemski just don't engage. That absolutely could be it. But it feels, man, way, way, way unfair the way that this guy gets talked about. Way, way unfair given the way that he has played. I mean, he led the Warriors in points. He was their 3rd leading rebounder and their 2nd leading assister in tonight's game. Now, he played a lot. He played the most minutes of anybody else, but I don't think his play warranted Steve Kerr taking him out of the game really much in this one. 888-957-9570 if you want to weigh in. Again, 888-957-9570. Out to the phones we go. Chardol is in Fremont and starts us off. What's up, Chardol? You're on Warriors Wrap Up.
Hi, Mark. I'm a big fan of the YouTube channel, and I tune into 90.7 game after every Warriors game as the New York Knicks take down the Golden State Warriors by a final score 110-107 from Madison Square Garden in New York City. In New York City, New York, also known as the most famous arena. They had so many chances to win this game tonight, and they fell flat on their faces tonight against an impressive New York Knicks team consisting of Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson, and now they have dropped 5 straight in a row, and things aren't looking so great for the Warriors, and they have to focus on bouncing back and snap this 5-game losing streak when they go up against the Washington Wizards from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., and I can't, when the Warriors do this every single night, I can't stand it. I'm like, I get frustrated, but it was great calling the Warriors Wrap Up, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thanks, Chardol. I just recommend taking a breath. Taking a breath, brother. It'll be all right. You can take a breath, and we'll let you stay on the line. You don't got to get it all out in one go. I appreciate the call, as always. And, yeah, they got the Wizards tomorrow. Well, if that's going to be a loss, then we got some major issues. But the Warriors, I think, pretty clearly said, you know what, tonight it's going to be an uphill climb given the injuries, but we're going to get Porzingis back and Melton back and Draymond back tomorrow in Washington, and hopefully that turns out to be a win. If not, things are going to be looking pretty ugly because right after that, you've got Boston, Detroit, Atlanta, your next 3 games on this road trip. I do think that the YouTube chat brings up a good point. Again, youtube.com/957thegame. Let's see. Where was it here? Telio 101. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. Wrote, Grandy, Pods played well until that ill-advised three-pointer and bricked it. That lost us the game, such a momentum swing. Okay, let me give the context so people know exactly what you're talking about. Warriors, let's see. Warriors down 1. Less than a minute left. There's about, 30 seconds left. Warriors down 1, 106-105. Podziemski has a one-on-one versus Brunson. It was relatively early in the shot clock after GP2 forced a Brunson step-back miss in the mid-range. Warriors got the rebound and went the other way. And again, relatively quick, relatively early in the shot clock. There's not a ton of time left, so I somewhat get it. But Podziemski takes a step-back top-of-the-key 3 with 16 seconds on the shot clock and 24 seconds left on the game clock. Ultimately, Guy then fouls Shamet with 16 seconds left. But the shot came with 24 seconds left on the game clock. So 24 seconds left in the game and 16 seconds left on the shot clock. So it was a pretty quick shot. Again, you're under 30 seconds left in the game, so you got to go kind of quick. But with that amount of time left, there is no reason to rush because the 2-for-1 has already gone by the wayside. The Knicks ended up going 2-for-1. You don't have the ability to go 2-for-1. So you can take a little bit more time and get a better look. Work a little bit harder. You're only down 1. You don't need a 3, although a 3 would go a long way into helping you potentially win that basketball game. But I do think he took the shot a little bit early. I don't think it was a terrible shot. The way that he's playing, I kind of like him in rhythm. Remember, he had just scored a beautiful drive past Cat and then the high, underhanded scoop off the layup. He's feeling good. He was feeling himself a bit. Early shot, yeah, probably. You could have worked it around and gotten a better shot. I don't think saying that that was an ill-advised one. He bricked it. He absolutely bricked it. It was not that close to going in, but I don't know. It's an in-rhythm shot. He actually created a good amount of space. He created a good amount of space, and he missed it. You could have worked a little harder and gotten a better look, probably, but there's only 30 seconds left as well. So I didn't have a gigantic issue with it, but I did think, it's a little quick. It's a little quick, but it's more the quality of the look that matters, and I thought it was a pretty decent quality look. Maybe you don't want him shooting that 3 because he hasn't been the most reliable three-point shooter of late, and I get that, but I don't know. Beggars can't be choosers in that spot either. All right, 888-957-9570. Let's take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break here on Warriors Wrap-Up. When we come back, I see your phone calls. If you just called in, hang out on hold. We will get to you right when we come back. Plus, we'll hear from Steve Kerr and a whole lot more. Dubs fall in Madison Square Garden, 110-107 to the Knicks. They've lost 5 consecutive games, and they're back to 2 games behind the Clippers for 8th in the West. Time for a break. Back with more next. It's Grandy with you on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
All right, I need avocados, bananas, salad, steak.
Wow, does your grocery list have multiple pages?
No, but I skipped lunch, so now it's like my stomach is doing the grocery shopping. And besides, I'm earning cash back with Upside.
Upside? What's that?
Hold up, you haven't heard of it? Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you shop at gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. And they added Lucky and Food Max stores, so we're pretty much covered wherever we go.
All those stores?
Yep, so not only are we getting a great deal on groceries, now we can earn cash back as well.
Okay, downloading Upside. Now let me copy your grocery list.
Great news! Lucky and Food Max are now on Upside. Download the Upside app and use the promo code SAVE9 to earn a 10% cashback bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code SAVE9 for a 10% cashback bonus. Use promo code SAVE9.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Hey there, it's Bonte with the report from River Islands in Lathrop, where the good life can be your life. The home selection has never been better, with neighborhoods designed to fit a wide range of lifestyles. Whatever is on your list of must, an amazing kitchen, a home gym, a private office, or a separate suite for your in-laws, who doesn't like that? There's a place here just for you. Priced from the low 600,000s to over $1 million. The neighborhoods are connected by parks and pathways, trails and lakes. It lets every resident pair the great outdoors with their own great indoors. The town center, located by Islanders Field Ballpark, is well underway, with the Redwood Cafe opening this summer and a community amphitheater being built for events, concerts, and community get-togethers. The town center is going to be a great place to hang out and enjoy the River Islands lifestyle. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands? Check it out at riverislands.com. That's riverislands.com.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-708-5977. 800-708-5977. 800-708-5977.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
If you need a new appliance, this is your sign. Shop at Lowe's now to get up to 35% off and next-day delivery on hundreds of major appliances. A new appliance now means an easier-to-do list later. Our best lineup is at Lowe's. Valid through 3/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Order by 4 p.m. Available Monday through Saturday. Subject to availability. Fees, exclusions, and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/appliance delivery for more details.
I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
13 seconds remaining in the quarter. Santos will take it right on the logo. Off a screen by Post. Hightails it by Karl Anthony Towns. Feeds Payton. Corner 3. No good. Tipped up and in. Leones with 1.4 to go. Ripped it over to Santos. Santos crossover on Anunoby. 7 to shoot. Steps around him. Left hand flip. No good. Tipped by Leones. Post to Richard. Down the lane. He dunked it with the right hand. Oh, a nasty dunk by Will Richard. A little elevation sensation. And it's 58-50. The Warriors lead by 8.
Now back to Warriors Wrap Up on 95.7 The Game.
That was the poster of a lifetime for Will Richard. He got all of us here at the station out of our chairs on that dunk. And it's funny, a handful of minutes ago, the 650 on the Boxer and Gerson Work Injury Attorneys text line, 888-957-9570, wrote, Will Richard had the classic poster jam of a lifetime. Yeah, you described it perfectly, 650, so I borrowed your phrase. And I said it myself. Yeah, I mean, Will Richard he does a lot of things really well, and one thing that kind of surprises you when he shows it off, because he doesn't get a ton of opportunities to do it, it is the athleticism. You know, he's pretty quick, and he's athletic. You know, he got quick movement side to side, and, you know, the burst and the fast break, you can see him run past some dudes, but the vertical explosion, we haven't seen that a ton, and we got to see it in the game today. Dunked all over, I think it was on Shamet, who we dunked on, in that one. And maybe he's just a March guy. Today was Selection Sunday, which means his Florida Gators, what he won a national championship with last year, is gearing up for another run, maybe to another championship. Maybe that's got him feeling some kind of way, but Will Richard's a keeper. The Warriors found something late in the second round that not many teams do, and the Warriors quietly have a group of those players from that area of the draft that are outperforming their picks, no doubt. Will Richard is already doing that. Guy Santos is doing that. Quentin Post is doing that. You could make a case that at a certain time, Trace Jackson-Davis was doing that, since moved on from and isn't getting a ton of run every single night in Toronto. But the Warriors find at least rotation players late in the second round. They've actually made kind of a habit of doing that, which is pretty darn impressive. 888-957-9570 if you want to weigh in. I want to highlight a couple of texts. Again, at 888-957-9570 if you want to chime in. That is the Boxer and Gerson Work Injury Attorneys text line. One from the 415. I was asking Warrior fans to chime in about Podziemski because I'm just convinced that I live in this bubble, this social media bubble, where the negativity around Podziemski gets highlighted at a rate that is so much more frequent than how generally people feel about the guy. So I was challenging Warrior fans. I don't care what your opinion is on this Podziemski. I'm not asking for one opinion over the other. I do care what your opinion is. I'm just not trying to be selective about what opinion I'm seeing. I just want to hear your opinion on Podziemski. So text me or call me or, add in on the YouTube chat. 888-957-9570. Or on YouTube, youtube.com/957thegame. The 415 chimes in on the Boxer and Gerson Work Injury Attorneys text line. The ignorance of fair-weather Fugazi Golden State Warrior fans is appalling. They force the world to listen to erroneous scrutiny of AirPods. They are the nano IQ crew, is what the 415 wrote. Let's see. This is also actually the same 415. Not much IQ proficiency about hoops in general. Post had 4 more turnovers than any non-scoring stat. Brandon kept the Dubs in the game, period, as much as anyone other than Guy Santos and GP2. The Warriors' 3 best players tonight were Podziemski, in some order, Podziemski, Santos, GP2, 4 best players. I would include Post in there. The turnovers were an issue for Post, but they were also not great for Guy Santos and for Brandon Podziemski. It was just that kind of game for the Warriors. Those were the Warriors' 4 best players. Did any of them have a perfect basketball game? No. Does anybody ever have a perfect basketball game? No. Were they close to perfect games? No, probably not with those turnovers. But in a game in which you're down, let me read to you the list of players that did not play for the Warriors today. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody, Kristaps Porzingis, DeAnthony Melton, Draymond Green, Al Horford, and Seth Curry. And you're on the road against a Knicks team that just returned home after a 5-game road trip, have been a top 3 seed in the East for the majority of the season. You lead by as many as 21, and you lose by 3 because you can't get a shot off in the final second, and we're finding ways to be actually pretty darn upset about the play of one individual in particular. But I have a hard time being that upset about anybody in particular after what this game was. I don't know if it's an expectation thing, if we need to adjust the way we're thinking about not just the team, but certain individuals, if it's a carryover in how other players' tenures were handled, if the way that you feel about Podziemski is related to how it went with Kuminga here, I get it, but we need to let go of that. It's in the past. It's not the reality anymore. I'm having another one that came in on the text line, 888-957-9570. The 707, I'm tired of the Pods hate. Makes it hard to listen to the show. He's averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists with a little less than 2 turnovers since the All-Star break. Yeah, and 707, stats are not the end-all, be-all, but that is a pretty good baseline to be looking at. Now, with those stats, I think it's fair to also say he's been giving a gigantic role without Steph, and for certain games without Melton, and, without Seth Curry, and of late, at times, without Kristaps Porzingis. And you kind of by default, you're saying, all right, Pods might have to kind of lead the way. So he's going to, 1, get a ton of minutes, and he's going to, 2, have a lot of opportunity with the ball in his hands. And with that, your counting stats are generally going to keep ticking up and up and up. Generally the way it works. So 707, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. It's great to provide the context of those numbers. I didn't have those numbers at my fingertips post All-Star break. It is more than just those numbers, though. Like, I'm not sitting here and telling you that I think Podziemski's a perfect player and that I think Podziemski's a future All-Star and that I think Podziemski is going to be a leader in the Warriors post-Steph Curry era and they should pay him $30 million this offseason, right? Like, I'm not saying any of that. There was a moment, I believe it was the Friday game against the Timberwolves. It might have been the Tuesday game against the Bulls. It was one of those two. They're morphing together in my head. But Podziemski drove from, I think it was the right wing into the paint towards the left side of the rim and had what I thought was a wide open layup. And instead of taking the wide open layup, he passed the left corner to, I believe, an LJ Cryer contested 3. And I'm sitting here watching the game from my media seat, trying to keep my voice down, but I get frustrated in the moment. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? A wide open layup and you're passing it up. Like, I have a hard time when I praise Podziemski or anybody else, and anybody that disagrees says, well, you can't possibly praise that guy for anything. It's a single moment. It's a single game. It's a single thing we're talking about. No one's perfect. And we should be able to take the larger picture into account when discussing these kinds of players. Look, the reality for Podziemski right now is he's a player that is probably best served as a 6th or 7th man, and he's being asked to be the featured scorer on offense right now. And frankly, I wouldn't expect him to be as efficient as he was tonight. I mean, he finished tonight 8 for 15 from the field, got to the line 9 times, made 7 of those free throws. He missed 2 of his first 3, but after that, he was 5 for 5 the rest of the game. Or 6 for 6 the rest of the game, excuse me. Like, I don't know. I think we're being very, very unfair to the kid. And a lot of the other young Warriors players have gone through similar things as well. I thought it was really unfair the way a lot of fans talked and argued about Jonathan Kuminga. That was unfair as well. I just think this is also unfair. And again, I may be living in this bubble, so I probably shouldn't even be giving it the amount of time that I'm giving it right now. 888-957-9570 if you want to weigh in. Again, 888-957-9570. I want to let you know that you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, and Odyssey Sports Station, always live on the free Odyssey app, and now broadcasting from the Laughing Monk Studios. We've got Steve Kerr's postgame presser coming up shortly, but for now, let's go back out to the phone lines at 888-957-9570. Again, 888-957-9570. Up next here on Warriors Wrap Up is Jimmy in El Sobrante. What's up, Jimmy? You're on Warriors Wrap Up.
El Sobrante, whether we're going to be El Sobrante of a Primus or like actual Warriors wins, like within 3, the Warriors are dominating through any sort of like play-in, and that I think that the Warriors are going to completely dominate through the playoffs. What do you think about that?
Oh, okay, Jimmy. I appreciate the call. Sounds to me like you're having one hell of a weekend. Get a good night's sleep, Jimmy. I don't think the Warriors are going to be dominating anything right now. They played well in certain moments, but I don't think there's any evidence out there to suggest that this is going to be a Warrior team that dominates anything. Even if they get fully healthy, the deck is stacked against them, and it's going to be tough for the Warriors. Now, again, I do think there are signs that would suggest if the Warriors, and I don't, this is a relatively big if the Warriors are to get as healthy as they possibly can, which is basically everybody not named Jimmy Butler, because Butler's out for the season. Everybody else is dealing with either minor injuries or injuries that should see them return at least before the regular season ends. I have heard some scuttlebutt around the Warriors facilities that maybe there's some disagreements about when Steph should come back. if there's any reason to quote-unquote rush him back, or if there's any reason to even at all bring him back this season at all, given what's likely ahead for the Warriors, which is at best probably the 8 seed, which means OKC in the first round. If we can just push past all of that potential disagreement and just say, all right, at some point before the regular season ends, Steph's going to be back. And let's say you have, for at least a handful of games, and maybe in the play-in, and maybe in a first-round series, you have Steph Curry playing, you have Moses Moody back and playing, you have Porzingis playing, and once the postseason comes, there will not be back-to-back, so you would think available for like every single game. You have Draymond back and playing, you have Al Horford back and playing, you have this new and improved Guy Santos playing. You have Podziemski sliding back towards a role where I would think he's better served coming off the bench as a, 6th or 7th man. You have Melton back and playing in every game because there's no back-to-backs in the playoffs. Like, that's not a bad group at all. And I could take it even further and talk about next year, say come January or February when Jimmy Butler comes back. And who knows what the back end of the roster looks like then, but like that looks like an even better group. Now, who knows how good Jimmy's going to be, around age 36, 37 coming off of an ACL. That's why that's more of a conversation for later. But even if I'm just talking about, say, April, Steph's playing, Porzingis is playing, Melton is playing, Horford is playing, Draymond is playing. That's not a bad group. Like Steve Kerr said on Friday, he was asked a funny question about if the team is fading into obscurity. I felt like it was kind of a gotcha type of question, and Steve didn't bite. He did not fall for it. And he essentially said, we're just going through it right now. We got to get through it. Frankly, I think, and I'm pretending I'm Steve Kerr answering the question. I'm not giving it word for word, but the general idea here, he said essentially, I think there's brighter days ahead. And there absolutely are brighter days ahead. Again, so much of it hinges on Steph's health, and less so, Horford's health and Porzingis' health and Melton's health. But, that's not a bad team. Not a bad team at all if they get, everyone but Jimmy healthy to close the regular season. Now, part of why this is frustrating is because the wins and losses in this moment don't matter a ton. I think the 8 seed is pretty much a foregone conclusion for the Clippers. I don't think that's going to happen. You're only 2 games back, but really it's more likely going to be 3 games back because the Clippers in all likelihood are going to have the tiebreaker. And they have an easier schedule than you do going forward. So I would guess you're not going to be the 8, which means at best you're the 9. And the Blazers absolutely could catch you. They're only a half game behind you right now, and they have the tiebreaker, so you could be the 10. If you're the 10, you have to win 2 road do-or-die games in the play-in. If you're the 9, one of them will be at home, but you have to win 2 do-or-die play-in games just to be the 8 seed. And your prize as the 8 seed is the OKC Thunder, the defending NBA champion. So it's not easy. The point is, though, if we're talking about the 9 or the 10 as the likeliest outcome, I would say the Warriors being the 9 or the 10, that's probably 90% of the overall chance of where the Warriors end up is probably 90% as the 9 or the 10 and maybe 10% as the 8 seed. That would probably be something that I think that's fair. You're not going to be the 7. It's not mathematically impossible, but you're getting darn close at this point, and you're definitely not going to be all the way up out of the play-in as the 6. You're also definitely not going to be out of the play-in as the 11. So 9 or 10 to me is like a 90% chance, and the 8 is like a 10% chance at this point. So if we're talking about, in all likelihood, you either being the 9 or the 10, the only thing you're playing for is if that first play-in game versus the Blazers is in Portland or at Chase. Now, that's a relatively big deal, but in terms of what is on the line, it's not as much as you normally think it would at this point in the season when you're kind of in a race for positioning. I don't think it's nearly as big as it was, say, last year, and it's definitely not as big as it was last year when you were fighting to avoid the play-in. You ended up not avoiding the play-in. You were the 7 seed, and it honestly worked out for you. You beat Memphis in the first play-in game, advanced to the playoffs as the 7 seed, and got a favorable matchup against Houston. Meanwhile, the Clippers, who were the 5 seed, avoiding the play-in because they beat you on the final day of the regular season, they got to take on Jokic and the Nuggets. And the Warriors probably would have lost to the Nuggets in the first round. Had they beaten the Clippers in that overtime game to close the regular season, they would have been the 5. And if they were taking on the Clippers, they probably lose in that first round because they lost that game and avoided avoiding the play-in, a.k.a. they got the play-in. They were actually afforded a better path through the first round. But it felt like there was so much more up for grabs and on the line last year than this year. This year it's just kind of, all right, we're trying to buy as much time as we possibly can until Steph comes back. If in the process we stay ahead of the Blazers and maybe catch the Clippers, great. But if not, we're not going to fret that much because we know the worst we can do is be the 10 seed, and that still means we have to win 2 play-in games, which is the same thing the 9 seed would have had to do. Just one more of them is going to be on the road. Doesn't make it any easier, but I do think the Warriors' reality is they're being honest with themselves about what is on the line, and frankly, in terms of wins and losses right now, what is on the line isn't a whole lot, in my opinion. What is on the line is your ability to maybe develop like a Guy Santos, like a Will Richard, like a Brandon Podziemski, like a Quentin Post. Get these guys playing better so when Steph does come back, they can be quality players alongside Steph and Melton and Al and Porzingis and Draymond. And maybe that gets the Warriors through the play-in, and maybe they take a game or 2 off of OKC. And that's kind of the best case scenario for the Warriors right now. I don't think we can dream any more than that, winning a game or 2 at the most against OKC in the first round. That kind of feels like where the Warriors are maxed out this season. And even that seems like kind of a pipe dream at this point. But it all changes if and when Steph comes back and he looks pretty darn good, and then suddenly you get a little bit of confidence on your side again. But right now there isn't a ton on the line for the Warriors at this point. All right, 888-957-9570. Let's listen to Steve Kerr post-game tonight in New York City after the Dubs fell 110-107. They led by as many as 21, but they fall late. They can't get a shot off on the last possession. Guy, his pass to Post on the right wing, not perfect. Post, though's got to catch it, could not catch it. He loses it. It's a turnover. Warriors don't even get a shot off down 3 in the final seconds, and they lose this game 110-107. They've now lost 5 consecutive games, and they're back to 2 full games behind the Clippers for 8th in the West, and they stay just a half game ahead of the Blazers in that 9 spot. The Blazers also played today on the East Coast, and they fell to the 76ers. All right, here is Warriors head coach Steve Kerr postgame tonight as the Dubs fall 110-107. Here is Coach Kerr.
Oh, man, the guys were amazing. Really the whole game. I mean, we had some hiccups in the second quarter, too many turnovers. We got a little dribble happy, and they got into us defensively, but could not ask for anything more. These guys are so fun to coach. They're playing so hard together. I just want them to be rewarded for their efforts. And, we've lost a few of these, but we're going to keep fighting, keep getting better.
How's the spirit of the locker room right now?
Everybody's down, but we're always down if we lose a game. But, I'm just blown away by these guys. Their effort, their intensity, their connection it's really beautiful to watch. And like I said, we're going to get rewarded for this. We're going to stay with it and continue to get better, and we're going to start winning some of these and get some guys healthy. And it's a really, really good connected team. They compete, they play hard, but beaten up right now and shorthanded, but they keep giving themselves a chance to win night after night. It's beautiful to watch.
How valuable can some of these high pressure moments be for young guys like he and like Brandon?
For sure, yeah. I mean, for all of them, Quentin, Will, they're all gaining valuable experience right now, playing these big minutes against great teams, understanding what it takes to win a game on the road. Gave ourselves a chance. I think we had 3 possessions down the stretch where we had a chance to either tie or take the lead, and just couldn't get the ball in the hoop.
One of those possessions was Brandon's 3 kind of early.
Yeah.
What did you see on that possession?
Loved it. Didn't want to call timeout. I wanted to play in flow. He had Brunson on him. He looked like he was going to attack. Brunson backed up, and I love it. Take the 3, go for the throat.
Steve, you've said many times the last couple of weeks how proud you are of the group and how they keep fighting. How do you maintain that level with them, even though they haven't had the reward yet? How do you make sure that it stays there?
Well, we just got to stay with it. I mean, every day is a new day, and we always try to keep perspective. We're all lucky to be doing what we do for a living and being together every day and competing. We're some of the luckiest people on earth. So when you lose a game, you have to maintain perspective and understand that another game tomorrow, and we keep going.
It looked like you might have been upset with Will Richard, I think, off one play on the fast break early in the game. What did you see on that play? Why?
Well, I thought he could have caught the ball. It was a bad pass from BP, and BP should have made a good pass. Will's got a dunk, turns into a 5-point swing. I was mad at Will because I thought he could have corralled the ball and not thrown. I thought he was trying to make an around-the-back pass for a score. I might be wrong. From my angle, it looked like he could have corralled the ball and made a jump stop. And I was really upset with the whole team for the second quarter. That's where the game got away from us a little bit. Too many turnovers, too many careless plays. Will had just gotten an offensive foul, pushing off. So I was upset with him, but I kind of regret losing my composure a little bit there because it's my job to keep the guys going, especially when we're without so many players. But you've got to, that's a big part of winning a game like this, is making good decisions and understanding how valuable the ball is. It started with Brandon's pass to him. He tried to lead him instead of just hitting him, and then he put Will in a tough spot. I probably shouldn't have gotten as mad as I was.
And also 22 points from Quinton Post. Are you happy with that at least?
He's great. Quentin was awesome. He's a really good player. He can do a lot of things out there, and these games where he can play 35 minutes are really important for him to feel it. And he made some turnovers in the paint where he tried to do a little too much, and he knows that. So he's got to gain experience from a game like this, but also gain confidence because he just came into the Garden and had 22 points and 3 block shots. He made some really key plays for us. I thought Quentin was great.
Third quarter, 15-1. What did you see? Just other than the pressing shot.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first.
Last 15-1 in the third quarter.
Yeah. Well, they were aggressive. They were the aggressor in the third, and 38 points. They were attacking the offensive glass. They posted up Towns a couple times, and he missed a couple shots in there, and they got multiple offensive boards. So they used their size and their physicality to out-rebound us that quarter, and thought we responded really well in the fourth and gave ourselves a chance. Thanks.
Thank you. You guys up here shortly.
All right, that's Steve Kerr postgame tonight in New York after the Dubs fall to the Knicks 110-107. The Warriors have lost 5 consecutive games. They're 3 games under 500 now. They stay after the weekend 2 games back of the Clippers. The Clippers lost yesterday. The Warriors lost today. So the net is no gain either way. 2 games back, same as it was after the Friday Warriors loss. 1 half a game ahead of Portland. Warriors 9, Portland 10, a half game separating those 2 teams. Portland also lost today, so it stays the same between the Warriors and the Blazers from today, with both those teams losing out east. The Warriors lost in New York. The Blazers lost in Philadelphia. I want to give kudos to Danny Emmerman for asking the question that I wanted to hear more than anything else. Danny of the SF Standard asked Steve about Steve's apparent frustration with Will Richard late in the first half after Pods threw a pass in front of him a little too far in front of him, took away what would have been an easy layup or dunk for Will Richard. But Steve was upset at Will, at least in the moment, because what he saw was Will, instead of just corralling the ball, and he said he thought maybe he could do a jump stop and stay in bounds, he tried a behind-the-back pass to Podziemski. The way that I read it, and Steve would probably see it this way as well once he sees the broadcast angle. He's just seeing it live in person from his angle on the sidelines. What it looked like to me was Will Richard trying to just save the ball and he threw it in the general direction of where he knew Podziemski was. I didn't think there was anything terribly wrong with that. He was trying to make the best out of a bad situation. I did think there was a chance he might have been able to control the ball and tiptoe the sideline and stay in bounds. I think his momentum was taking him right out of balance if he tries a jump stop. But if he maybe turns right or left, he might have been able to stay in bounds, maybe not. I do think in general, Steve was probably a little more upset than he would be had he seen the replay. But he admitted everything that you wanted him to admit, which was it begins with Podziemski. He led him when he just got to put it on him. It's not as if Steve is willfully ignorant of the mistake that Podziemski made in that moment. And he said it was a terrible pass, bad pass by Podziemski. Got to just put it on him. Don't lead him. It started there. But Steve's also just upset because the way the second quarter was going. In the second quarter, the Warriors committed 9 turnovers in the game. 9 turnovers by the Warriors in the second quarter. 3 of them by Post, 2 of them by Gee, 2 of them by Will. Now, one of those for Will really should go to Podziemski because it was the wayward pass by Podziemski that led to that other Will Richard turnover. And then 1 by LJ Cryer and 1 by Omer Yurtseven, the newest Warrior who signed a 10-day contract with the team this morning. Yeah. Steve got upset at Will. Probably won't be as upset once he sees the replay. But it was more, I think, about the team as a whole with those 9 turnovers for the Warriors. 888-957-9570. Final handful of minutes with you here on Warriors Wrap-Up. If you want to weigh in, give us a call now. Again, 888-957-9570 as the Warriors fall to the Knicks 110-107. As we look ahead to the rest of this road trip for the Warriors, you feel like you have a chance to win a game tomorrow. Now, we've said that a couple of times of late, and the last 2 times we've said that, they have lost. They had a chance to beat Utah in Utah. They blew that game down the stretch, lost that one by 3. They had a chance the very next night at home to Chicago. That was last Tuesday, so 5 days ago. That was the back-to-back, Monday in Utah and then Tuesday in Chicago. You had an 8-point lead with 90 seconds left, and you lose that game in overtime. So there is no such thing as a given for this Warrior team right now. Now, I do expect Porzingis to play, Melton to play, Draymond to play. There will be no Al Horford. There will be no Seth Curry. There will be, of course, no Steph Curry and no Jimmy Butler, obviously. I am still awaiting an update from the Warriors on Moses Moody. They updated him earlier this week. This past week, I should say, and they said they were going to provide another one later this week. So we're waiting to hear more on Moses Moody. Maybe they get him back at some point on this road trip. He's quietly now missed a big chunk of games, has Moses Moody. Tonight was his 6th consecutive missed game. The Warriors updated him on Tuesday, saying they will provide another update later on this week. I have not yet seen that update. So we shall see on Moses Moody going forward. Maybe the Warriors provide an update on Moses at some point tomorrow ahead of that game. We shall see. But they will be healthier than they were tonight, tomorrow in Washington. And, of course, Washington is an opponent that is less interested in winning basketball games than a lot of the other teams around the league. They are 16-50, and there are some teams that are in their sight in terms of maybe catching them and getting better odds in the lottery. So we shall see about the Washington Wizards tomorrow as the Dubs go into there to take on those Wizards. Again, that game is tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Then in Boston on Wednesday, also a 4 o'clock game in Boston on Wednesday. In Detroit on Friday. And then in Atlanta on Saturday for the second back-to-back of this road trip. And then in Dallas on Monday the 23rd. And that wraps up the Warriors road trip. Again, they're in New York tonight, then in Washington tomorrow, in Boston Wednesday, in Detroit on Friday, in Atlanta Saturday, in Dallas on Monday. So this road trip features the 3 best teams in the Eastern Conference for the Warriors: Detroit, Boston, and New York. Warriors already lost to the Knicks. And then it also features the hottest team in the NBA. OKC, maybe you could consider, is right up there with them. They've won 8 in a row, but the Hawks have won 9 games in a row. Atlanta has, and they are trying to get out of the play-in. They're up to the 9, only a half game behind Philly as the 8, and a game and a half behind Miami as the 7, and only 2 games behind the Raptors, who have won a couple of games in a row but are reeling a bit of late. the Hawks have maybe the 6th seed in their sight. So they're playing for a lot as well. That's not going to be an easy game. You got the 3 best teams in the East, and then you got the hottest team in the league, and then you got Washington and Dallas. 2 teams that are probably more interested in losing than winning right now. So you have a couple of opportunities to pick up some wins. Everything else, though, on this trip is really, really difficult. If you go 2-4 on this trip, the Warriors would probably feel all right with that. 3-3 feels like you just hit a hole-in-one if you go 3-3 on this trip somehow. So temper our expectations, I think, is the right way to treat this road trip for the Warriors. 888-957-9570. Let's wrap things up with another call here. Alex in Oakland wants to weigh in. What's up, Alex? You're on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game.
What's going on, man? First, I am liking what I'm seeing out of the Warriors right now. They look pretty good. What I would do is I would sit Steph for the rest of the season, trying to make let these young boys go out there and play basketball, get some experience. Because getting the eighth seed, all that means you playing OKC. That means you getting done in the first round anyway. The one thing that is missing that I've been noticing is that they do not have a leader on the floor. They look like a bunch of guys at the rec that look really good. They're really nice. But number one, they haven't played together a lot. And number two, who's the leader? Who's the ball going to? That's what they need. They need a floor general right now on the floor. But other than that, let the young boys play. They look good. It's looking promising for next season.
Oh, wait, so Alex, they need a floor general, but they should just hold Steph out?
Yeah, okay, look at it like this. Do I want to play give up and just not let Steph play? No, I don't want to do that. But realistically, if you aren't having the opportunity to win a championship, man, let Steph heal and get well and play your young players. Let them get that experience. Let Cryer reach another level that he wouldn't have been able to. Because it's not like when you even had Steph and Jimmy, you were still with a mediocre team.
Yeah.
With Steph and Jimmy and Draymond. So just sit Steph, man. The man got you 4 championships. You know, thank you, dude. But rest yourself up and let the young boys have their opportunity.
Yeah, I hear you.
Nice.
Yeah, I hear you, Alex. And look, you are right. The absolute worst thing that could happen for the Warriors right now is Steph Curry comes back, whenever it is that he comes back, but he comes back and he does something that jeopardizes his status or ability to play in any way next year. Not even talking about a season-ending thing for next year, but even if he does something that causes him to miss the first couple of weeks of the season, that's the absolute worst-case scenario. And there's only one way to 100% avoid him from doing something in a game that could do that. It's by not playing him at all. So, I get it. And again, the opportunity cost is what we've been talking about in terms of what does a win or a loss mean to the Warriors right now in the regular season. And the reality is not a whole lot, because in my mind, the only thing that's up for grabs is either being the 9 or the 10 seed. The 8 is still very much a mathematical possibility, but when you consider the records and the schedules of the Clippers and the Warriors, it seems pretty unlikely. So for me, the only thing the Warriors are fighting for is being the 9 instead of the 10. And even if you come out of that, you're playing OKC or the Spurs if they happen to catch OKC, which I don't think is going to happen. You're taking on the 1 seed if you're in that 9 or 10 spot, if you make it out of it, which rarely happens. So there's not a whole lot for you to gain by playing him in the first place. So I get everything you're talking about, Alex. All I'm going to say is, and I do think there are some differing opinions within the Warriors front office on this very thing. It's, should we even bring Steph back at all? Do we need to bring Steph back? And should we rush him back? I think the Warriors are all on the same page that don't want to do that. But when he's available to play, should we bring him back, or should we just hold him out for the rest of the season? And I do think there are differing opinions in that regard. What I will say is there is one person who was very influential in the Warriors organization who will absolutely want Steph Curry to play the second that he's been cleared medically, And that one person is Steph. So I'll let you be the one to tell Steph that he's healthy, but he's not playing when there's still a chance to go to the postseason on the table. I tend to think that Steph and his desire to play is going to win out. They're not going to rush him back, and they're going to be incredibly patient as they've already been. If this was a year when the Warriors were fighting for maybe like the 3 or the 4 seed and you wanted home court in the playoffs, or they felt like there was something like big on the table still for them, he might already be playing now, Steph Curry. But this is a different circumstance, and you don't feel like there's an incredible amount of urgency to put Steph out there and to win right now. So I think there are some differing opinions in the organization. I guarantee you, though, on the extreme end of the spectrum in terms of wanting to play Steph is Steph Curry. And maybe Steph doesn't flex his power in the organization to kind of override certain people in decisions like this. Maybe he doesn't do that. But still, someone's going to have to, if you're going to hold Steph out for the rest of the season, someone's going to have to break that news to Steph. And I wouldn't want to do that, because there's one thing that dude loves more than anything else. It is playing basketball. So we'll see how it plays out. I expect him to come back at some point in the regular season. He's going to be reevaluated here in a little bit. He'll be reevaluated ahead of the game on Saturday in Atlanta, so 6 days from now. And maybe at that point we have an idea of when he might return. Potentially, I don't know, a game at home against Brooklyn on March 25th. Maybe that's the day that Steph returns. Maybe the next game at home against Washington. Return him at home against a lesser opponent. I don't know. It's pure speculation. But I do think once Steph is 100% cleared to go and Rick Celebrini and the Warriors trading staff gives Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob and Steve Kerr the green light, and then it's a decision to be made, a basketball decision to be made, not a medical decision to be made, I think Steph's going to play. And you just cross your fingers and hope that nothing serious happens that jeopardizes Steph's status at all for next year. But we'll see how it goes. It is, and I just saw this on the YouTube chat. I was talking about this earlier as well. Otis on the YouTube chat, youtube.com/957thegame. It is a good sign that Steph is on this trip. Yeah. Absolutely it is. He had not been on the most recent road trips. He's on this one. He is technically only ruled out for 3 more games on this trip and is not yet ruled out for the final 2 games of the trip. He'll be reevaluated on the day of the second to last game of this trip in Atlanta on Saturday the 21st. And he has not been ruled out for that game and has not been ruled out for the Dallas game on Monday following that. So doesn't mean he's going to play in either of those games. I would still be surprised, but that is technically still possible, and maybe that's why he's on the trip in the first place. But we'll see how it plays out. We've got a lot more time to talk about that because he's not going to play tomorrow in Washington. He's not going to play Wednesday in Boston. He's not going to play Friday in Detroit, and we'll be talking about Steph's status before and after every one of those games as well. Okay, that's going to do it for Warriors wrap-up tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with me tonight as the Dubs fall in New York versus the Knicks, 110-107. 5 consecutive losses. The Warriors now 3 games below 500. Let's see. The last time the Warriors were 3 games below 500. Has that happened yet this year? The last time they were 2 under was December 18th when they lost to the Suns. They were 13-15. I don't think they've been 3 games under 500. They have not been. They are a season worst 3 games below 500 right now. So things are not great right now for the Warriors, and they got a back-to-back coming up tomorrow, then in Boston and in Detroit, the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference, followed by the hottest team in the league, the Atlanta Hawks. So going to be tough for the Warriors. 5 straight losses. They're 1-7 in their last 8. They're back to 2 games behind the Clippers for the 8th spot, and they're only a half game ahead of the Blazers for the 9th spot in the Western Conference. That's going to do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow. Pregame begins at 3 with tip at 4, and then I'll be back with you for Warriors wrap-up tomorrow here on 95.7 The Game. All right. For Cam, for Zach, my name is Mark Randy signing off. Thanks to all of you for tuning in all night here on 95.7 The Game. We will talk tomorrow. For now, have a great rest of your Saturday evening, and thanks for listening on 95.7 The Game.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life